What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm the real Jussy.
I'm Peter Parkour, and we are the Distorted Theorists.
So, guys, today is the one we've been counting down to. We are reacting to and discussing The Avengers! It was Avengers #1, the culmination of all things Phase 1, and it was a long time coming. But before we get into that, if you could hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, help us grow the channel, guys. We're trying to do some cool things, and Marvel Mondays is just one of those. So take it away, Pete. What do you got to say?
You notice that I'm holding this here in a very awkward fashion, and that's because if you watched our last video, video review reaction.
Oh, he did another one.
I will say that Brian Erdy of CBS TV Movie Planet called this, Captain America, the First Avenger, the best superhero movie ever. But for the Avengers, Chuck Walton of Fandango.com has called this the best superhero movie of all time.
But how is that possible when that's the best movie of all time?
Brian, what are we doing here?
We should put him in a fight to the death.
Jesus, you're sick.
I know. I just went really 1 to 60 there.
Wow. You gotta relax. It's only the Avengers, man.
I know. But the culmination of all things, Pete, let him have it.
Oh, man. This was like this.
Like, what was your feelings, honestly, when this was happening? When this cinematic item was about to drop in theaters?
I needed a towel. Like, it was because, again, this was the first time that we'd really seen something being set up. Again, with superhero or other movies that have been set up in the past, like X-Men, Spider-Man. It was still Spider-Man.
Yeah.
X-Men.
Right.
It wasn't like X-Men, oh, there's a Magneto movie, now we're going to do a Cyclops movie, and then it was just, this is what it all was. So they had their own X-Men, Avengers.
This is the footwork. They did Marvel took the time to do the footwork. So you had everybody hanging on their seat. You had your Thor fans, you had your Captain America fans, you had your Iron Man fans, you had your Hulk fans. Some were crisscross. Yep, they liked all of them. Some like, I like Hulk, I don't like Iron Man. But in the end, you knew they were about to all come together.
And they had that silly shot.
I wish we could take our. It was but it was bad. But it was badass though.
I mean, yes, but looking back on it, you're like...
And like, think about it. They chose out of everything they could have done, once again, they brought it back to our boy Loki to be the big bad versus, what, 7 Avengers total? 6?
Well,
we'll count Agent Fury, Nick Fury, I don't know. Anyway, so like the fact that Tom Hiddleston, as we said in our previous videos, could carry a leading role, completely leading role, and take on the Avengers speaks volumes about his acting career.
And this movie was directed by Joss Whedon, who has got himself in some hot water as of late.
Jossy.
Yeah, he's kind of destroyed part of the DC universe with that as well.
Yeah.
And there's been a whole bunch of nasty allegations that come out as well that I'm not going to get too deep into now. However, his style of directing, whether it was controversial at the time, because we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened behind the scenes or anything like that.
And then we'll never know.
But I liked The Avengers. It had its cringy moments. Yes, it had its silly little jokes that were like, eh.
But you know what was even funny about The Avengers, like the more I'm thinking about it, is that you had all this time bringing the Avengers together. You did that. You brought them together in the movie, and then you separated them all again, and you brought them all back together again, and I don't care what you said, you got the feeling twice in one movie. So,
and this movie actually had a very small cameo of someone that we actually follow.
We did?
Ashley Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Of Critical Role.
Wow, that's a deep cut.
Is in this movie.
For a blip. Two blips.
Yeah.
2 blips.
And I think she's in a deleted scene as well. She's in an interview.
Because she was in the cafe and then she does like an interview or something on the news thing.
Oh, it was just
crazy, like to think that she was in that for what purpose really, other than a cameo maybe? Was she even famous at that point? Sorry, Ashley, if you were.
She'd been in a couple of things, and she wasn't filming Blind Spot at the time, but no, she was in it. So Ashley, you're in.
All right, Pete. Can I bring the Avengers together one more time in this trailer?
Are you saying you want to assemble the Avengers?
Yes. Let's get into this trailer reaction right now. Let's get it.
All right. Will we get actual Avengers music instead of Limp Bizkit this time?
I hope so. I think I just saw Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
War has started.
War changes everything.
And we are hopelessly out.
Yeah.
There's
that's it! Hilarious.
Director Fury, I think it's time.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, we got the music.
You here with the mission, sir? Trying to get me back in the world?
Trying to save it.
Samuel.
Doctor, I need you to come in.
What if I say...
That's the start of their relationship too.
I'll persuade you.
What are you asking me to do?
Doth mother know you weareth her drapes?
It's called the Avengers Initiative.
I literally want to go watch this movie right now.
Qualified. Apparently, I'm what is it?
See?
Volatile, self-obsessed, and don't play well with others.
He doesn't have a name.
He really doesn't.
He doesn't have a name. His name is just Agent.
Time out.
You want me to bring the hammer down?
How desperate are you? And you call on such lost creatures.
Yeah.
Such a good, a good piece of
You have
crazy.
made me very desperate.
Neil.
We're not a team. We're a time bomb.
Oh man, I got chills. Ugh.
I'm bringing the party to you.
That's not a party. Why would anyone think that's a party?
Yeah.
This is nothing we were ever.
Want some shawarma? There it is.
Here's your shot. It's still badass. That's badass.
I think I might have done that in order. Got it.
Yeah.
That's not a party. Oh, she doesn't say it.
May again. The big ones come in May, Pete. The big ones come in May, and you know what? Multiverse of Madness is only we've probably seen it at this
by
point.
now.
If I may, like you can't see it, but I get goosebumps. This is one of my favorite movies, and I just want to stop before you go any further. The end scene when he says, "I'm bringing the party to you." It is my favorite scene when he says those iconic words. He comes around the building, and Bruce Banner pulls up on the little right, and they go, "Bruce, we're gonna need the big guy. We're gonna need you to get angry."
Well, that's
and
not that scene.
Yes, it is. He's bringing the party to you, and Bruce Banner has already showed up, I think, at this point. And they said, "Bruce, we're gonna need you to get angry."
Okay,
and
yeah.
he turns around and he
That's the
says,
thing,
"That's the
always
thing. I'm always angry." And when he turns around and goes, "Blink," it's just like I get chills when I watch that now.
Bringing the party to you.
But even
that's not a party.
But like, I want you to shed some light, because I know you might know a bit more than me. This, aside from the Avengers, this is where we meet the Chitauri, which ultimately would be the next big extraterrestrial thing, and opening our eyes to what threats are
opening Tony's eyes.
opening a lot of eyes,
Very much
as
so.
to what threats are actually in the universe.
Well, the Chitauri, they're
They're an alien race, obviously, but like
they're cannon fodder. That's what they are. They're
then you got
basically-
you got those. I don't even know what they're called. Do you remember the name of them? The beasts. Because I mean, they show up again in Endgame as well, so they're obviously a reminder piece of how big these things are. But the fact that the Avengers can take them down is it just shows the sheer power of what teamwork can do.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
But oh man! But ultimately, there you have it. The Avengers assembled, as you said.
The conflict within the Avengers when we're a time bomb and Tony and Steve are getting.
Well, they got issues. Like any
what are
team,
you, a millionaire, billionaire, playboy,
Philanthropist,
philanthropist?
yeah. But and that's the whole thing. They did it so well because these heroes didn't grow up together. They were basically chinched together and said, "Here, figure your shit out. We need to save the world." But that's not how a well-oiled machine works.
Well, what brought them together?
The death of Coulson, which did end up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know if we'll touch on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that in Marvel Mondays or whatever, but I got a bit of lore there we can touch on for a Marvel Monday or two.
Wait until I watch S.H.I.E.L.D. I've only seen like half of the first season.
Oh, okay. But ultimately, I'll pass the buck to you. The end credit scene. We thought this was like not it, but we thought this was it for the Avengers.
We saw a very different Thanos.
Yes. So the end credit scene. What would that mean for future Marvel viewers for years to come?
It meant what we were going to see ultimately in Phase 3, because Phase 2 didn't really allude once again to Thanos. Phase 2 was his own entity again of trying to bring more people into it and introduce different characters and show how they can and can't work well together.
Yeah.
But they still just had that and his head turned and you saw the
What's the words they say? They basically say the humans are not to be messed with or something like that.
They're stronger
to
than we
court
thought.
death. To court, like them, to court death. No,
is to court death.
Yeah.
To fight them is to court death.
Yeah, and then
whatever.
Thanos turns around and gives the old grin. Is like,
He doesn't say anything.
okay.
He just kind of goes.
And he basically.
And at the time, I didn't know who Thanos was.
Oh, I didn't either.
One of the people that I was in the theater with, he was just like, "Ah, we're getting Guardians." I was like, "What? You got that from friggin' like the?"
But little did we know, because I would do research in him as like yourself, would find out about this whole Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity Saga comic book line, and I was like,
again was just
what?
Because we were just seeing movies just kind of like come in at this little thing, and then just.
Well, I remember. I think it was a good friend of mine, Jeff O'Leary, actually alluded to this because shut up, hashtag. But he said that he snaps and destroys half the universe, or gets rid of half the universe, and I was like, well, that'll make sense, because how can you even fight somebody like that? That don't make sense. And then we very quickly find out how you fight someone like that, or don't fight. You lose to someone like that.
But there were so many good moments like the fight between Thor and Iron Man. And then, like, do you want me to bring the hammer down?
Yeah, and Captain America joins in there.
Bring the hammer down. And then we get to see the actual strength of the adamantium shield there.
Yeah. It kind of puts in perspective. I think that's
the vibranium shield. God, it did it again.
Yeah. But I think that scene was meant to show that even though they had all different powers, because you have a god, you have a super soldier, and you have a guy in a suit, they were all evenly matched and equally as powerful to each other. Like, because a lot of people look, well, if Thor fought Iron Man, he'd crush his skull inside the helmet. Okay, like, you know what I mean? And yeah, okay, maybe in the comics that would be true, in the lore, whatever. But this was showing you, no. It's not that simple.
In the cinematic universe.
In the cinematic universe,
where there's
all
money
equal.
involved, we can't do that.
It's all,
And we get to see a little more of an interaction of something that we would get to hear about in later movies, of stuff between Natasha and Clint.
Yep. We would get Natasha and Hulk's relationship started off in this movie.
Not really. There was nothing all that.
There was flirtation. And then it got touched on again in Ultron. Yes, there was.
Ultron there was.
Oh, yes. Ultron, 100%. But this was like, I think looking back, as we're doing in these Marvel Mondays, you can see it now that there are little interactions. I mean, think about it. The first time we see the Hulk is in screen with Natasha. I'm not saying on screen they were having a romance. I'm saying the juxtaposition, if you want to call it that, led to greater things later. Hence what these Marvel Mondays are all picking up on stuff that we didn't see then that we know now.
And again, one of the bigger players that was not featured very much in this trailer was Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
The whole, and judging that the council's decision is a stupid ass decision, I chose to ignore it.
And now it's so crazy to think, where is he now? I mean, we've seen him up in space in Spider-Man Far From Home on the ship or whatever. But what is Nick Fury's part right now in the cinematic universe?
Oh, I know. I know this one.
Peter Wilson, go ahead.
He's going to be in Secret Invasion.
Oh yeah, because we did see that little blip with the beard and everything.
Which part of it was filmed in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Right next door.
Yeah.
So I mean, so I guess we will learn soon where Nick Fury's gonna be. But thanks for tuning in to Marvel Mondays. Peter, let us know, what is the next Marvel Monday? Well, Iron Man 3?
Iron Man 3, when we actually get into Phase 2. And you'll actually get to see us in different shirts.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, and we're actually looking at this earlier because with Phase 1 there's 6 movies. With Phase 2 there's 6 or 7, and for Phase 3 we're
gonna need
like
a wardrobe.
Like there's so many movies.
But guys, once again, thanks for tuning in to our Marvel Monday. We hope you enjoy what we're doing here on the channel, and if you do, as always, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit
the notification
button so you don't miss these Marvel Mondays. And we'll see you back here next week. I am the real Jussy.
I'm Peter Parkour. And like I've been saying all the time,
keep it real.
Keep it real.